Welcome back. This is Wayne Madsen with the Wayne Madsen Report, the Say Roundup from Washington, and we've got with us Susan Lindauer, who's written a book about her experiences, which are quite astounding. And Susan, you were I think other than Jose Padilla, you were the only American citizen put into a military prison, and it was. This was all contrived by Michael Mukasey, who was the chief judge in New York. And we know all about Mukasey, who later became attorney general, probably one of the worst attorneys general we've ever had. And I include in that list John Mitchell, but he at least went to prison for his crimes in Watergate. But Mukasey never did, because Mukasey, of course, has his own connections and was just part of that whole neocon apparatus that helped us get in this disastrous war in Iraq. But why don't you talk about that experience too? Because this gets right to the heart of where the Patriot Act is leading us, and where the Tea Party people voted to extend it and will vote for it again.
Well, now let me tell you something really interesting about Mukasey. Mukasey had my case, and he also had, now realize my case involved, I was one of the people who was on record warning about 9/11.
Right.
And I had gone to Congress and I'd asked to testify. I'd spoken to the staff of Senator John McCain and Senator Trent Lott, asking to testify about Iraq, about the Iraqi peace framework before the war, and Iraq's contribution to the 9/11 investigation, which would have brought out the 9/11 warnings. So my testimony shattered the lies about Iraq and 9/11, and the whole 9/11 Commission would fall apart. Now, notice something very interesting. My judge handled the 9/11 warnings, the cover-up of the 9/11 warnings,
right.
But he also had the financial case on the civil lawsuit for Larry Silverstein and all the companies
right.
that were seeking damages from the insurance companies
right.
on 9/11. Isn't that interesting?
Well, they were both members of the Fifth Avenue Synagogue in Manhattan, and right there, with the fact that these were friends, Silverstein and Mukasey, all buddies, all members of that same synagogue. Oh, by the way, Bernie Madoff was a member of that same one. So, I mean, there was a conflict of interest all around, and of course, the Justice Department, of course, even with this huge conflict of interest, did not see fit into having Mukasey, Judge Mukasey, recuse himself from both cases.
Yes. But isn't it interesting that they, in my case, and we'll talk about the Patriot Act now, in my case, Wayne, you know that they used the Patriot Act to cover up the 9/11 warnings. I was arrested in March of 2004, 6 months before the 9/11 Commission issued its report in October. Okay, there was plenty of time for the FBI to raise a flag and say, wait a minute, we have discovered information here that the 9/11 Commission needs to consider. And the FBI had verified my 9/11 warnings I was arrested in March of 2004. So at the very latest, they verified it by April of 2004. I know that the New York Times verified it in April of 2004.
Right.
And the New York Times sat on that story for until the end of August 2004. And then they smeared me. They wrote this really ugly, nasty little, like high school profile. It was like a very amateurish, right. making fun of me. And here they.
Don't know what happened. Oop. My internet went down. Back up now. quite windy outside. So
in Sarasota, Florida, and who whispered in his ear that America is under attack, and that was your cousin Andy Card, the chief of staff.
Right, that's right. And it's just incredible. But you had, the Office of the Attorney General knew it about the 9/11 warnings. The Office of Counterterrorism at the Justice Department knew about the 9/11 warnings. The FBI learned about it 6 months before the 9/11 Commission. That meant the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan knew it, and realized the U.S. Attorney's Office sat right across the street from where the World Trade Center used to be. You can pretty much look outside. The courthouse was 1,000 yards, 1,000 feet away from where the building used to be. I mean, it's a shocking thing that it was a block away, and they lied about this stuff. And so all these people at the Justice Department knew about it, and they were using the Patriot Act. And so
okay, Susan, we have another break. We'll be right back with you after this break, and maybe we can take some of your phone calls out there. We have some people holding on. This is Wayne Madsen with the Wayne Madsen Report. We'll be right back.